How's it going? There are a lot of stories for CNN 10. I mean, obviously, they're going to be pretty short because they still only have 10 minutes, but let's get into a brief summary of what they'll talk about. First thing, vaccines. So, obviously, CNN 10 is geared towards people who are in school, like high school and middle school. So, they're going to lead with a story about how vaccines are now available for those who are 12 to 15. But a couple things that I learned here, and I just want to repeat for you so you hear it twice. The FDA hasn't approved this yet. And remember, the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, they make sure our medicine is safe. They make sure the food that hits shelves at the store are safe. So the Food and Drug has not approved this for 12 to 15-year-olds yet. And CNN said it might take years. So the next thing is only the Pfizer vaccine is available. So Johnson & Johnson and Moderna are not available. And parents obviously are mixed. CNN talks about how the survival rate for COVID across all ages is like 99 point something percent. I don't think it was 99.9, but it was high. So you can imagine, 12 to 15-year-olds, they're not really getting super sick from this. So parents and teenagers have to balance, like, okay, is the risk worth the reward? Like, the long-term effects of the vaccine are not known. It just came out recently. So I have children too. We're dealing with the same, like, should we not? But 40, okay, listen to these two statistics. And I think you have to sometimes watch out for what CNN 10 tries to do, anybody with statistics. Okay. So they say 46% of all Americans have received at least one shot. Okay. That's good. But then, so the next story goes to Japan for the Olympics. They're talking about the Olympics quite a little bit too much for my liking. I mean, let us know. There's nothing really new here. But they say that 1% of all Japanese people are fully vaccinated. So right there, those two numbers aren't exactly correct. So they said 1% of all, I should say 1% are fully vaccinated, but then they say 46% of Americans have had one shot. So those two numbers aren't actually comparable. They're not the same thing. They're saying one shot for Americans, two shots for Japanese. I wish they would have done it more similarly so we could see, is Japan really behind? I was speaking with someone that I know in Taiwan, which is a little bit, a little bit south of Japan, but they're experiencing the same thing. They got like 3% of their adults are vaccinated. I'm not sure if it's fully vaccinated or at least one shot, because remember, with just one shot, they're not exactly sure what the percentage is, but you are going to be more protected and all that stuff. The next one, I got the question wrong. Yeah. And I thought I was going to nail that one. I thought I knew it. Then they'll go into China. So far we've had like 3 stories. I'm not sure if you know this. CNN 10 doesn't go into it too much, but China's population is the biggest in the world. You probably know that. Right? India is number 2. China is number 1. Well over 1 billion people. India will be number 1 within the next maybe decade or so. They will be number 1, because what happened in the 1970s in China is that the government made it illegal for couples to have more than one child. And there's a documentary out, I think it's called One Child Nation. I got something in my eye, sorry. And it's really good, talking about the choices people had to make. Now, I don't think there was, like, I think people like to tell stories like, oh, they would kill the second child. I don't think that's how it happened. At least according to the documentary that I watched, it would be that those second children, or sometimes, here's the really bad thing, if that first child was a girl, the couple would often try to hide the fact that they had a girl, like leave the child on the doorstep of an orphanage or something like that. Because in Chinese society at one time, like all of the family's money would go with the man, with the boy, with the son. Because when the girl married into another family, all of her, her family's money would go to that other family. So for years, they had a really low birth rate. And even to this day, the birth rate in China is really low. And one of the problems that China is facing is that they may not have enough young workers to keep that economy stimulated. All right, next page of the notes. The next one, they'll go to Italy. Interesting story. It's like 30 seconds. But Neanderthals, like we might call them cave people, right? They found like 9 of them in this cave in Italy, and their bones were gnawed. So they think that maybe animals took the Neanderthal bones back to their lair and had a meal, which is kind of scary to think about. Electric cars is the next story. And I don't know if you know this, but like if you ever go on a road trips were in the news recently. Like, I don't know if you have an electric car, there's so few charging stations. Like sometimes I see them on the main turnpike down in Kennebunk, like that rest area. There are some down there, but if you're on a long road trip, I mean, where do you charge your car? So I was surprised to hear this statistic, though. 5 million electric cars are on the road. Now, that's worldwide. I didn't think it would be that much. But CNN 10 is predicting within the next 20 years, there will be more electric cars on the road than like simply gasoline powered. So that's something to look out for. I don't know. Be interesting. Maybe when your kids first start driving, like mine are right now, maybe they'll be driving an electric car. That'd be a little longer than 20 years probably, but they might be driving electric cars. Kind of crazy to think about. Yeah, I think that's it. Oh, there's actually another story at the end about pasta, which is kind of cool. I thought, like, why would people be developing this type of pasta? But my notes, I don't need them anymore. Why would they be developing? Have my notes been in the way the whole time? I hope not. No, I don't think so. Why would they be developing this type of pasta to lay flat? I'm like, oh, but once they say it, I'm like, oh, that's a really good idea. But I don't want to spoil it for you. I want you to learn it from CNN 10. All right.